This video, we're going to identify the amplitude and the period of our trigonometric function. But let's first talk about how to find an amplitude and period by looking at the function. Not graphically, but just looking at the actual function given. All right, so if I have a parent function of cosine or sine, just like any other transformation, I could multiply, add, subtract, do just different operations on my function. So let's say I have a parent function. Typically we use sine, just kind of associated with both sine and cosine, the same multiplications and things like that that you perform on the function will be the same for sine and cosine. So let me write this out. So A, and then I'm going to write sine. I'm going to try to use different colors here. I'm going to use sine of B times X minus H plus, and this one I'm just going to keep with what we've used before. Sorry, just checking a color K. Right, in this case, A is being multiplied to the function. If it's being multiplied to the function, this actually tells us our amplitude. So the absolute value of A is our amplitude. Okay. B, on the other hand, I'll use this coral color for B. B, on the other hand, it helps us find the period. So we use B for the period. Use to find period. And the period would equal 2 pi over the absolute value of B. Right, H is going to be our phase shift. Those are two different, totally different numbers, A phase. And K, hopefully I got the same color here, yep. K is going to be our vertical shift or our midline. All right. So those are the different parts of this function. So if I were to look at the function given to us, y equals 3 cosine of x, the only thing that I notice different from my parent function, so this right here is my parent function, the only thing I notice different is we're multiplying the 3, which means that my amplitude is going to be equal to the absolute value of 3, which is 3. Okay, in this case, they also want to know the period. Well, looking at this, B, which is the number being multiplied to X, will be my period. The number being multiplied here is 1, so it's going to be 2 pi over 1, or 2 pi. Right? So that is how we can find the amplitude and the period of our function. Okay, so what if I'm given I'm going to keep this right here. I'm just going to write over here, draw like a little line here. That line is actually a pretty decent line compared to my other lines. Let's say I had something like y equals negative sine of 2x. Well, my amplitude would equal the absolute value of negative 1, because this is literally a negative 1, which is 1. And my period is equal to 2 pi divided by the absolute value of 2, which is going to be pi. If I were to actually graph this, I will graph it here. Let me delete everything there. Y equals negative sine of 2x. Don't ask why I changed the colors. I think I just grabbed that when I was trying to look. This would be pi, because again my period is pi sine. This would be halfway through, so I'm going to graph my zeros. My maximum and minimums happen between these 2 points, so right in the middle, but this is a negative, so we do the reflection. What used to be up here is now reflected below to -1, so down here. Remember, the original sine wave went from +1 to -1, so this would have been the negative. Negative times a negative gives me the positive. I'm trying to eyeball this halfways. This is still 1. And instead of going to 2 pi, we make this full shift before pi. All right. So there you go. There is our there's our full transformation. We've compressed this. Remember, this tells us this is 2, but this is a horizontal scaling factor. So really, we are multiplying 1/2. So if we have 2 pi, we're halving that. We're making it to 1, or we're fitting 2 full periods before you hit 2 pi. All right, guys, so there's your amplitude and a period. There's a little bit more in there than amplitude and a period. So I hope that you guys got a little bit more out of this than what you would typically see. And this is what this sine graph would look like when you have the negative in front. It just kind of flips. All right, so if you have any questions or comments, always feel free to ask, and I will catch you in the next video.